You know, it seems like just about every week there's a new LLM that's topping the charts, and this is why we created the Brokk Power Ranking. Today, I'm going to go ahead and take you through a tour of all the bits and bobs surrounding the Brokk Power Ranking and show off some of the ways that you might be able to put it to good use. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So this is the main page for Brokk. We're going to be going right to the rankings part of our site. This is a really info-dense page. As you can see, we've got all the models that we're interested in, and we've ranked them from S all the way down to D. There's a ton of other information on this page. You can look at model performance scores for each individual model. You can look at cost versus performance. You can look at speed versus performance. You can look at performance by task, and it goes on and on. Also on this page, if you want to just kind of sort things out, you can look at the filters area. And if you're interested in a very specific model, you can, clear them all and just say, hey, I want to look at Claude, or I want to look at GPT-5 and maybe the infamous Gemini 3 Pro, and see how they stack up in the rankings. The next stop in our journey is going to be over to our blog site. So the blog site is where, as these models are being pumped out and we're doing our rankings on them and we run them through the testing strategy, we go ahead and give our take on why it is that we pick certain things. And as you can see, our founder, Jonathan, has gone ahead and done a number of articles that kind of explain why he picks certain things. And one of the most interesting things recently was the Gemini 3 Pro rankings. Like, we thought, well, this is going to be the new hotness. And if you listen to anyone out there on the web, whether you're on Twitter or YouTube or any other social media platform, everybody out there was just shouting from the mountaintops that the Gemini 3 was the top dog. And it is a pretty impressive model, I'm not going to lie. But the reality is that when you put it up against essentially a Pareto testing strategy where you're looking at cost versus performance versus the amount of time it takes to get something done, the trade-offs just kind of push it further and further down the ranking for us, which landed it in D tier. And Jonathan goes into more detail in this blog post as to why it is that it ended up this way. Another interesting read that I would highly recommend taking a look at is the introduction of the Brokk Power Ranking. This goes into all the detail behind why we made a new benchmark, what our findings were, why GPT at this point in time was kind of like something to phone home about. It talks about how we set up the testing using real-world applications like Apache Cassandra to be able to test with current issues and current commits that are happening within that code base, so that we're not dealing with data that could potentially be trained into a model. So we have a baseline of commits that have happened within the last 6 months. So it's very current, and there's this kind of removes the notion that the model has time to train on the data set that we're testing with. It also goes into a whole bunch of other details. This is a really good read, and if you're wondering how it works, I would start here. And then once you're done with this, and we'll get into this a little bit later, I would recommend hopping over to our GitHub repo, where the entire testing benchmark is open source. So you can take a look at it. You can look at the testing objects. You can read through the documentation about how it functions, and if you have the money, you could set it up and test it yourself. So next up, I would say another blog I would take a look at would be Member Power Ranking is the most recent one, but obviously we're going to be posting blog posts about each monthly ranking as we post them, and this will kind of give some commentary and some information about some additional information about why certain models are moving up the ranks and why things are looking different. Just kind of a little insight into the changes that are happening in the current benchmark for Brokk. And I think as far as blogs go, that's just about that. Those are the I'd get started there. There's a lot of good reading on this page. We'd love it if you like to go through and read it all, but if you don't have time, those are the first three I would get started with. Next up, I think we're going to head over to our GitHub repo, and we'll get there from the main site. So if you're looking for Brokk proper, as in the actual application itself, this is where the landing page will take you. You can pull it from here. It is also an open source project, but what we're interested in here is the power rank. So as you can see, all of this is open source. You're welcome to take a look at it. We have all our code tasks in a single directory. Some of the results are housed here. And then of course we have a full README about how the Brokk power ranking runs, running the evaluation, how we run harnesses for each data set. It goes into some good detail about how the sausage is made. So basically an explanation of how the run happens, and some other information that you may find useful. So if you are interested, highly recommend, go ahead and grab this repo, take a look at it. You can see how it all works. If you have the money to run the test, which would be cost prohibitive to do this on your own, or if you have feedback on the tasks, or you want to call us out under the carpet if you don't agree with how some of the tests are being run, come on over to the repo and have a look. And if you find something egregious, you can either give us an issue or put in a PR if you can find something. So that's the GitHub repo in a nutshell. Have a look at it and tell us what you think. Next up, we're going to take a look at the Brokk application itself. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. Jumping into the Brokk application, just to kind of set the stage a little bit, I'm working with a project called Godot, which is a 1,000,000-line plus C++ project. It's a game engine, it's open source, it's out on the web, and I use Godot as a really big project written in C++ to be able to put Brokk through its paces. So it's a really good testing platform for kind of working with what Brokk was built for. So what I want to show in here is with the model choices you have in the drop-down list here, you can pick any of the models that we have available in the project, and you can hover over that and you'll get you'll see it says Brokk power ranking, and this is a success rate relative to the token count. So if we just drop that guy right there and pop it up, you'll see this is based on benchmark data for the model performance based off of the current token count, or the token ranges, I'm sorry. And I'm going to go ahead and load up a session from back, I think it was around December 1st, where I was just basically kind of testing things out with Godot, and I had to do a project analysis that showed me all the features, all the languages that were used in the project, and I even went so far as to have it explain the module system for me. So what I wanted to kind of show here is I got a little bit of context loaded up in this window, and when we look through each of these models, you'll see when I select GPT-5, we've got a 93% success rate at this token count, which is pretty good. But if we were to drop it down to something like Sonnet 4.5, you'll see that the success rate drops dramatically by about 10%. So the net of this is that you can go through, and as you're doing your activities, or you're analyzing things, or you're working on a bug fix, or you're refactoring some code with Brokk, you can use this pop-up, which is informed from the current power rankings, to try to pick the model that's going to give you the most bang, or the most bang for your buck, depending on what you're looking to do with your given session. It shows up in a couple other places. We use the power rankings to inform us on, like for instance, our default model of choice. That gets chosen based off of which one gives us the best price for performance, because obviously if it's the default model, we want to give you like the best value right out of the gate. And then if you want more performance or better success rate, or you don't care about the money for some reason, you can go ahead and pick a more expensive model that might give you better intelligence. That's entirely up to you. Takeaway is that we use real benchmarking tools to be able to inform the models, or inform you as you're picking the models within the actual editor itself. So that's our integration point. There's several other integration points, but they're more under the hood, not easy to show on film. But let's just say we make liberal use of our own benchmark tool to be able to give you the best choices within the Brokk editor. That rounds out my tour of our benchmark and all that surrounds it. The power ranking data both supports the Brokk platform, as we just saw, and it ensures that you know what the best performing LLMs are, no matter where you're coding. I would say bookmark the page. And if you like what you saw today, hit the subscribe button here. I'm Dylan, DevRel at Brokk, and thanks for watching.